there's any brands out there that would like to take a micro-influencer to Coachella weekend 2, please.
This is why you, as a brand, should invite me to Coachella from a marketing perspective.
I'm going to Coachella. I'm not going to Coachella anymore. I literally found out yesterday.
Now, if you've been on social media this week, guaranteed you've seen all the Coachella videos. You've seen the Sabrina Carpenter drama, whatever's going on with Justin Bieber and his performance. Some love it, some hate it. But what I've noticed has been flooding my timeline, and maybe it's the algorithm, is all of the conversations about brands and influencers. Now, this has been going on for a couple of years, but this year I feel like we've hit a peak. Of course, I've even posted about the Barbie and the Landria collaboration, which was really cute and cool. I've seen loads and loads of videos of the influencers in the brand houses.
Guys, I'm back at Coachella with Guess Jeans, so I'm going to give you guys a house tour. This is one of my favorite times of the year to go with Guess Jeans. They always make it such an enjoyable experience. Okay, now for the house tour. This house is so unbelievably insane.
On the flip side of that, there's also been a lot of conversation about influencers being disinvited by brands to the festival. People are now calling the festival manufactured and cringe, and Coachella is now being dubbed as the Influencer Olympics, which is jokes to me. So the conversation this year has been more about the brands and the influencers and the oversaturation of that, opposed to the music acts and their performance. And today we're going to look at how Coachella has turned into a commercial desert. And is this the year that the bubble finally pops? Man, I sure hope so. So what used to be a pilgrimage for indie music lovers has now become a commercialized business trip. The authenticity of music and creative arts is still there in sprinkles, but now it's more about showing up and showing out for the gram. And instead of sharing the acts and the music, people are showing themselves in private jets and in their brand homes, not even them really at the festival unless they're showing off their outfit. And Coachella's been like this for a while. My first experience at Coachella was in 2012, the epic one when they had the Tupac hologram and Dr. Dre and Eminem and everyone came out. That was sick. And at that time, it wasn't as influencer heavy, but there was still a big celebrity presence. That was the time when Vanessa Hudgens and Rihanna were kind of running up and down Coachella. I think that was like kind of the first boom of Coachella being more than just a music and arts festival for music lovers. It became a place where people wanted to go to show off. But even though that was the case, music and arts was still a heavy influence of the festival. It was still the driving force. And I feel that since Beyonce done Coachella, that even the lineup in the music has gone downhill and hasn't been a focus. Coachella know now that the audience is different and the audience want to go there to celeb spot, potentially, opposed to hearing good music. But have Coachella misunderstood the audience? Have times just changed? From the comments, it looks like audiences are disconnecting from the festival. They complain about seeing the same 5 brands doing the same pool parties and the same after parties. And while some people might say, oh, they're hating because they're not there, Coachella still need to pay attention to this, because ultimately their audience isn't just the people that buy the tickets. It's also people online and how the festival is perceived. As well as audience fatigue, to me, it looks like there's a little bit of brand fatigue there as well. This year, we saw a massive wave of rescinded invites. And don't get me wrong, I feel like some people were saying they were invited to Coachella when they really weren't, just for clout.
So I got invited to Coachella this year with a brand and then uninvited.
So this all started when I received an email from an account manager at the PR firm that's hosting Camp Push this year. So I get an email back from this account rep at 12:30 in the morning. I immediately open it up. The email says, "Hi, Kathy. Sorry, this was a mistake. This invitation was obviously meant for Carolyn Bankston. Really appreciate your nice introduction, but please disregard, as this invitation was not intended for you."
Like responding back being yes or no, they fully were like, we're about to drop you, and then have completely ghosted me from then.
I just found out that I got uninvited to Coachella.
I got a text message from one of my favorite brands of literally the whole world. And basically they were telling me how they were interested in taking me to Coachella. But basically the brand told us that they were gonna have to let all 3 of us go. Now we would no longer be going on the brand trip.
Now, I'm sure the brands that cancelled their trips have the reason for this. But from my experience, as you know, I've worked in brand partnerships for just under a decade. I feel that these brands are beginning to feel like this is a waste of money. Sending people to this festival for a one-off trip, there's no kind of ongoing partnership, there's no ongoing relationship, and it's only the influencers who are getting to experience this brand. People people watching it aren't getting to experience it. There's no connection there. And I think brands are waking up to that. And I feel like the reason for some of these cancelled brand trips for these influencers was because the brands see there's more value in selecting fewer people to come to these brand trips and building maybe kind of a long-term relationship with them, opposed to inviting everybody. I know with some of the conversations I've had with some of my peers, a lot of us feel like this influencer Olympics thing peaked in 2024. And I actually went to Coachella in 2024 backstage as a guest of one of my friends. And it felt very, very dead. And I know that I'm older now, so I don't have the same feelings towards Coachella that I once did back in 2012 and years prior. But it feels very dead, and it feels that people are just there to take pictures. There's no love there anymore, you know? So what happens next with the festival? We're already seeing a converged influencer model where instead of 50 influencers being invited to events and activations happening there, we're seeing a lot less. They're keeping it small and keeping it exclusive. We're seeing brands building relationships with influencers for the long term. I also feel that brands are not going to pull out of working with Coachella, but they're going to shift more from it being like a campaign and just being there and having a bunch of influencers taking videos. They're going to shift from that, in my opinion, to more experience-led activations. They're already kind of doing that full kind of 360 experience thing, but I think it's going to be less of a VIP experience moving forward and something that's a bit more real. I think we're going to see more brands taking over branding and partnerships of the camping elements at Coachella and getting influencers to showcase that experience more, because at the end of the day, having a brand house isn't open to everybody. And as time goes on, us regular people who are at home watching all this Coachella content are becoming desensitized to all these VIP experiences that we will never get invited to. So I definitely see brands shifting to things that are a bit more obtainable for the everyday viewer. At the end of the day, we can buy tickets to go camp at Coachella. And if that camping area is sponsored by a brand, then that's more beneficial to the brand to appeal to a wider market than just doing a brand house with 10 influencers. So my prediction for 2027 is that we're going to move away from influencer-led campaigns. I think there will still be some, but I think those influencers will be those very high-ranking influencers and celebrities, and that will be the exclusive side of the campaign. And then I think what's going to happen is there are going to be more community-led campaigns happening where micro influencers will showcase more of their experience at the festival, opposed to them just partaking in trying products. So for you as a content creator, if you want to invite to Coachella based on how I predict things will go and based on the conversations that are happening in the industry, what you want to do is to focus on building your community and focus on building content that shows everyday experiences that is of a high production value, still able to show brands in there in a very authentic way, and shows you being a person who loves art, culture, and music, because I see Coachella trying to go back and get back to that after some of the reviews that are coming out this year about the performances, and continue to do and to build that. And if my predictions are correct, then you may be in the eyesight of some of the brands who are shifting how they approach their relationship with Coachella moving forward. And look, at the end of the day, Coachella is still one of the most influential music festivals in the world. But in order for it to survive, it needs to provide more than just a backdrop for TikTok dancers or the Instagram perfect photo. And brands are learning that audiences are no longer enamored by these VIP experiences that only influencers can have, when regular people going to the festival seem to be suffering.
The Coachella camping hub and the food prices are absolutely diabolical.
At Coachella, and I would like to inform you guys, I just paid $41 for 2 pieces of pizza and a Coca-Cola.
I'm going to have to wrap this up early because there's some construction going on at my neighbors. But let me know what you think about Coachella. Do you think that they need to change what they're doing? What do you think about the brands and the brand activations? What would you like to see happening at the festival? And how do you think creators should be adjusting their content if they want to invite to Coachella? Might do a video on that. But write your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And I will be back again with another video soon. Bye.